I need to explain who Dan Tubb is, or no one's going to be able to vote. Dan, we met at the last event, the last Shieldings event. A few of us were there. He gave a very good talk about finance. So he's a venture capitalist. He's a very charismatic, knowledgeable fellow. And he was nominated by someone on Twitter. 6'2", blue eyes. He's financially solvent, occasionally funny. I think he's more than occasionally funny.
He's funny. He's a funny guy.
Funny.
Proven track record. He has a happy wife. Proven sire. He has 2 robust children, which I think is a very good description. 2 healthy, robust children. He's a very good cook, and he cooks all the meals. He understands women. He understands women.
Right. That's an interesting thing to say.
I don't know if that's good or off-putting.
So on the cons, he can be a bit lazy. That's just men, isn't it? He's getting slightly podgy. I know that's not going to be a negative for every lady in this chat. Won't do any cleaning, laundry, or gardening.
Oh no,
that's just left to you, ladies.
Nope.
He was a bit or a lot of a tart when he was single, and always listening to podcasts, audiobooks, or reading. I mean, what educated man is not always listening to podcasts, audiobooks, or reading? Couldn't care less about being social with normies and no filter on opinions. All right, well, I'm going to have to call it for Dan Tubb unless there's I'm going to count to 10, and if there's a tidal wave of support for Sargon, he can still make it, but otherwise it looks like Dan Tubb.
Vote for Carl. What are you doing, people? That's madness. I mean, also, like, Dan works for Carl. I mean, come on.
Okay, well, Dan Tubb's just inched it out, so we'll give him 10 seconds.
I mean, I was listening to Sargon back in 2016 or something, so I'm biased.
Same.
He's, one of the first people I've discovered online.
It's my second one, but yes, I am.
Dan Tubb's got it. 51% against 50. Against 49.
Oh my God!
He's only gone and done it. Let's see if he can win the next round. And it's going to go quicker because there's only a few of you to actually vote. It's just going to be down to the ladies in this round. I guess because there's 4 of you and 1 of me. If you two, in the event of a tie, I will have to do a tie break.
Okay.
So between you guys, have you decided? Yes. I'll have to ask you, like, cast your vote in your mind. Don't let the other ladies influence you. You have to decide right now between Henry Cavill or Tucker Carlson.
Cavill's got it 3-1.
Okay.
Without Rose vote.
Slide. The next one is Thomas Carlyle versus Achilles. Then Carlyle wins it. Nice one. Next, we had Dan Tubb, venture capitalist, 6'3", modern day man, good father and husband, versus author of brilliant literature, Englishman, pipe smoker, J.R.R. Tolkien.
Only because I've just had a notification on my phone that he's just followed me. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go to him.
He did that on purpose. He did that on purpose.
And I have not read. I still haven't read Lord of the Rings, so I'm gonna have to go with Dan.
Massive.
No. I'm gonna go with Dan as well. Bless him.
Tolkien.
Respectable.
Ooh.
Amy.
He's got the deciding vote. Oh, Poe, you have the deciding vote.
I think Tolkien would just be too difficult to be married to. I'm going to have to go with Dan Tubb.
All right.
Dan wins.
I like that underdog spirit. I like how plucky he was to put himself forward and write that lovely little bio for himself. He wants it more,
Yeah, he wants this.
He does, yeah.
Next, we have a sci-fi mashup. Captain Kirk versus Darth Vader. I'm sharing, aren't I?
No.
I'm not sharing the screen.
No.
Nothing. This whole time I've just been looking at my own slides. Captain Kirk. He's the captain of our hearts. Nelson versus
McCartney. I'm kind of hoping we end up with Nelson and Dan. That is my goal here. We end up with
the finalists.
But yes, Nelson wins that round.
Machiavelli versus Willem Dafoe.
Ooh.
I think Dafoe still wins it.
Dafoe does still win it, yeah.
So we've got Marcus Aurelius versus Joe Rogan.
Unworthy match.
Oh, shocking.
Oh, I think this is actually it's going to be a tough one for the ladies. We've got Rochester versus Indiana Jones. Yeah, I think
Empire.
I'm going to have to go with Rochester.
Ooh.
Although it was very close.
It was-
Batman goes next to Goblin King.
God, because I don't want my children abducted, I'm gonna have to go with Batman. Poe, it's down to you.
It's not even a hard choice. I choose Batman. I think legitimately, we should really go to the chat for this round. Carlisle versus Cavill. Do you go for the mind, the intellectual, the author, the man who understands the world, the perception, or do you go with the slightly based but ultimately physically attractive, strong Henry Cavill, probably wealthier? I expect he's a modern man. He may have more modern ideas about marriage, about relationships. Looks like Cavill's winning it. Sorry, Carlisle, bros. He's out.
We have Dan and Kirk. That is correct.
Kirk, of course, captain of the Enterprise. He's aware. He's a very wily, intelligent man. People often portray Kirk as the more. He's definitely the more brash of the Enterprise captains, but he's he's a bit of a lib, to be honest. To put this in, Dan's best quality compared to Kirk is that he's based. I think Kirk's got that very Gene Roddenberry outlook. If you want a man who actually understands what's going on, who's going to help you navigate the modern world and understand the especially financial market, Kirk's really too idealistic. He's got this very liberal mindset that the Gene Roddenberry was like projecting onto the show. So even if his personality is good, the politics I think is probably his greatest weak point in this matchup. So looks like Tub is winning it. He's been consistently ahead for the last few seconds. If anyone wants to come in and vote for Kirk, do go ahead. But
Can you imagine if
I
he
feel
wins
like
the whole tournament?
If Dan gets through this, we are not going to hear the end of it.
I would be so happy.
I still want it. I still want the Dan against Nelson. Come on, chat. Let's do this.
Well, Dan is going against Cavill if he wins this.
No.
Oh.
I'm gonna give 10 seconds to make a comeback. Dan Tubb is doing what Khan could not by defeating Kirk, unless somebody votes for Kirk soon.
He tasks me.
Oh come on, Captain Kirk is just hotter.
But he's a bit of a douche.
Doesn't matter. Tubb has won
So
He's a 10-point lead.
No, Amy, you're not supposed to go for the horrible men.
Poe really, gave a good talk there for Dan, though, didn't she?
that's interference.
Tubb won. Look.
Worldwide. If you married Dan Tubb, your last name would be Tubb.
Defoe or Nelson?
Is Nelson winning? I can't see the poll. Can anyone?
Nelson's he's storming it. He's got 76 and
Yes.
climbing. So if anyone,
Go on,
Yes.
Nelson.
anyone wants to marry Willem Dafoe, you got to say so now. Defoe is not making a comeback from this.
No.
He's Nelson's going to win it.
Yeah.
Marcus Aurelius versus Edward Rochester.
Yeah.
Let the chat decide.
I
Rochester,
don't know where this is going to go.
Aurelius. I think the chat is more male than the panel by quite a lot.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
yeah,
think the chat has probably
definitely.
not read Jane Eyre, and they don't have any reference point from Edward Rochester.
Yeah, I feel like the male brains are going to go for Aurelius on this
I
one.
feel like it's okay because Orson Welles is cool. So
This is
That's
true.
it.
They might,
We've got
yeah,
that
they might
going
just
for
see
him.
Orson Welles and think, well, it's Orson
Yeah.
Welles. We don't know who the character is, but
Orson Welles with a fur cape and a big dog.
Awesome Wells.
He
it's
has
the cape and the dog. That's what it is. It's the cape and the dog.
I think, Aurelius, I think he has some kind of ancient Greek equivalent of cape, and he has a horse. So,
He
And a
does have
cute
And the
bird
little
on top.
bird. Yeah.
And the little
Right,
bird.
is that a bird or is that the horse's mane out the front? Like,
I'm going with a
Oh.
bird.
I just want to just confuse you all. I mean, it looks like a bird. But I'm now I'm
Yeah.
looking at it. I'm like, is
I'm
it?
looking at it in HD, and I think it's a bit of
Is it
name.
just
I think it's part of the mane, and we were all thinking it was a bird.
All right,
It is a
Aurelius,
bird.
Aurelius
A bird
is
in my
storming
eye.
it so far. We got to have some votes. Come on, ladies. People who've
Come
read
on,
Jane
look
Eyre,
at the
you've got to be
cape.
on my
Look at the
side.
cape. I mean, that cape, you know? I think we should
He's
bring
I
back
fantastic.
the
mean,
cape.
yeah, the cape
I
and the
like
dog
a
are
cape.
cool, but I mean, Aurelius's writings are quite good. I mean,
Yes.
if he was like that all the time, then I mean, I wouldn't be offended to be married to him. If that's how he actually spoke, then I'd be pretty down for that. He was a pretty sound guy.
I think
Oh,
there's no way Rochester's making it back from this. He's
No,
he's lost.
Has Aurelius hit this one?
Have you picked an odd number, Pearl?
I have picked an odd number. That was my failing.
Do we have some super chats with a couple of suggestions? Can we just
Oh, did
randomly throw
That-
them
Yeah,
in?
if we
that's
pick
very
one.
nice.
One of
have
them
it
was
against
Pierce
Batman.
Brosnan.
An
Oh,
interesting
Oh no, we
round.
have
Okay.
Stannis Baratheon has a higher super chat, so I think we have to put Stannis Baratheon in.
I didn't even think about
Oh.
Game of Thrones, actually. That would be a whole other
We should
interesting.
do.
I
We should
didn't
do
That would
the
just
you wed just for Game of
confuse-
Thrones characters.
Yes.
I
opinion of
once
women.
made a list of all of the men in the distant right so that we could rate them, and she has not done that yet. So if someone wants to put in a super chat for that, if your
It's
opinion
just,
of us is not
awkward
low
when
enough
you've actually
already.
met them and you're like,
Do
you,
it.
you go on a stream and
Do
talk
it
about
now.
how sexy they are. It's just how are you going to face them after that?
Well,
We're
you're
getting
doing
married,
that
it's
with
fine.
Dan Tubb.
Exactly.
Dan Tubb
And
asked
we're all
for it.
sitting there going-
He was asking for it.
I'll just make
Stannis
it an even
was
number.
the true heir of the Iron Throne. He fought against his brother Robert Baratheon in the Clash of Kings book and the Song of Ice and Fire series. He was a fan favorite among a certain type of man who didn't have the kind of romantic notions of of cheering on Jon Snow or Daenerys Targaryen. It's like he really is the true heir to the throne. He's got a very kind of stoic manner. He sticks to his convictions. He's very honorable, but he's also he's not really gentle or kind in the way that Ned Stark could come across sometimes. He's
Oh yeah.
he's
yeah.
he's very hard edge. He was a fan favorite for a reason. It's hard to
Yeah.
kind of describe the appeal. But then Batman is a millionaire and and a hero.
He's got a really cool
Yeah.
car as well.
I mean, what is sexier? A man who fights with his fists and his batarangs and a grappling hook, or a man who fights with a sword and a male fist and a shield, on a horse?
The sword is
I wish
always
you'd
going to
look at people
win
on a
that one. The sword is always going to win that
Mm.
one.
I mean, the sword is pretty, and on horseback.
All right,
Really
I'm
great,
gonna give
Where's it
Stannis
going?
10 more seconds. Vote.
You're just
Vote
hoping.
for Stannis if you haven't already.
I was
If you
hoping
want
it
Stannis
goes
to
one
win, you
way.
must vote. I'm counting to 10. Dramatic silence. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, it's 50-50. It's 50-50.
No!
53
Eliminate them both.
Oh.
Go, go,
Eliminate
go.
them both.
It's 56%. Somebody has made a bot or something to vote for Stannis because it's just leapt from 50 to 59% now.
Wow.
No.
Oh, it's
This
because
is-
the chat, because when I do the 10, they're not actually, the chat is like
It's
20
behind.
seconds behind.
Yeah.
So when I started counting, the
Ah,
vote doesn't start going, they don't actually start to.
Yeah.
I'm on the edge of my seat here.
Should we
This is
call it?
great.
Let's
The
call it.
ruler of what's it called?
So exciting.
Westeros.
It's the most
Should we call
excitement I've
it?
had in
Should we-
ages.
We need to do another round because we have 5 through into the final now. In the final, we have Henry Cavill, Mr. Tubb, Lord Nelson, Aurelius, and Stannis.
Oh my
Those
god.
are the 5. That's
What?
the 5 we have so far.
What a bunch.
We need-
Piers Brosnan was next on the list. Unless
so
we
Piers
get,
Brosnan against
but
who have we got?
Clint Eastwood did get a higher bid. He got a higher super chat.
Clint versus Stannis. Oh, it's going to be Clint.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that works.
Okay, so while I find a picture of Clint Eastwood, you ladies are back on the voting duty. You've got to choose the next one. You've got to choose between Dan Tubb and Henry Cavill while I look for Clint Eastwood.
Oh my gosh.
Think carefully. You do have
It's
to
a
marry
difficult
one.
decision. You have to marry one, and that's it for the rest of your life.
Dan Tubb does win in terms of his political views. He's right on the money in terms of understanding the current situation that we're in. understanding the world. You know, Henry Cavill, he made, you know,
there's
they
a
say
good
that
chance
he's
Henry
based
Cavill
because
does.
the female co-stars that work with him don't like him. So there's reason to believe that Henry Cavill is antagonizing his female co-stars in a you know, based kind of way.
You're
But-
I think
making.
he plays
only rumor.
Warhammer with.
Birdie, we got Dan Tubb or Henry Cavill. Who do you choose? Who will you wed?
I'm gonna have to go with Dan. I'm gonna have to go with Dan.
Even Dan's wife wouldn't go with that.
Bernie, you can't just vote for him because you want him to go against Nelson. Okay, you have to actually want to.
No,
marry him more than
no.
anything
Okay,
else.
my reasoning is one, because I've met him and he's very nice, and two, because even though Henry Cavill looks stunning, he's not very nice to his co-stars. He's not very nice to other females. So I'm
He's
kind
not
of
very
like,
nice to his
eh.
very crazy
I'm
co-stars.
yeah, and I'm worried about that. Whereas I've met Dan and he's sound. So
Okay, all right.
Dan gets the vote.
Tasha, Dan Tubb or Henry Cavill?
I'm going to go for Dan for pure comedic reasons because I just think it's funny and
Yeah.
classic.
shits and
Yeah.
gigs.
Cal?
Dan.
He's doing
Go
better
for
than
it.
I just think it's just funny. I just think it's really funny.
Brilliant.
It doesn't even matter what Amy says now. Amy,
But
tell us.
curiosity.
Henry Cavill, because I'm honest.
See, I am being honest. I'd rather marry Dan than Henry Cavill.
I don't
The
know who
worst thing
Henry
is,
Cavill is.
I'm being
you know,
I'm being yelled at by Alex in the next room, and I don't know what he's saying because I've got my
To
headphones
be
in.
honest,
So.
Alex does look quite a lot like Dan.
We got the rulers against each other.
We have the rulers.
Aurelius versus
Wow.
Nelson. The
wow,
English, the gentleman
serious
versus
stuff.
the thinker, the
That is
philosopher,
serious.
the emperor. Probably
This is-
owned slaves.
This is a weighty.
Probably owned slaves.
Well, everyone did, didn't they? So
Well, I don't know if Nelson did, but
yeah,
anyway.
I bet he did.
Not that I'm aware of, but you never know.
We're gonna have to go with Amy first.
Nelson.
Cows.
Aurelius.
Tasha.
Nelson.
Birdie.
Nelson.
That's 3 against 1, isn't it?
It
Yeah.
is. That's 3 for Nelson, 1 for Aurelius.
Goodbye, Marcus Aurelius. Hello, Admiral Nelson. Look at him. He looks great in that painting.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought that
great.
you would. I thought you guys wouldn't like
He
him
does
because
look
he does
great
have a slightly kind of
He looks
youthful,
young.
almost
That
feminine
is a
look to his
very
face.
young image of him.
Yeah, like he could be
very
19 in this picture.
But in the
He looks
I
cool.
don't know if anyone's been, but in the museum in Portsmouth, there are like 5 different portraits of Nelson at different ages, and yeah, I mean that kind of sways it for me, to be fair.
Right.
Nelson, all
And
the way.
finally, we have our new contender, Clint Eastwood, the astroturfed hero, but definitely, you know, he's someone I would have put in if I could think of a worthy adversary for him. We have Clint Eastwood, the actor, or should we have the man with no name from the Sergio Leone series?
Yes, the man with
I mean,
no
he's up
name.
against a fictional character, so it feels right to me that it should be
Yes,
Stannis
We need the
versus
characters. We need the characters.
yes,
Blondie, the man
absolutely.
with no name,
Yeah.
whatever you like to call him.
Who's
The
the
guy-
man with no name?
The guy in the westerns, portrayed by Clint Eastwood. Very nice. I don't know who's
Nice.
whistling, but I think it's Tasha.
It's me.
That was good. That was.
Yeah.
They've got, Birdie up first. I
Okay,
feel like
Just to get you in the mood, you know.
Birdie, have you seen these westerns? Just out of curiosity.
I have, yes. Yes,
Nice.
I've seen quite a few of them, hence the, yeah. So I think everyone knows which way I'm going with this one, but it's going to have to
The
be
one
the
you've
man,
actually
with,
seen, you mean?
the man with no name. See, obviously,
Dasha?
Oh, no name. Absolutely. Hands down.
How can you
Bit of
take his name
mystery.
if he has
Yeah.
no name? I mean, he is. I mean, not that I'm going to sway the
He
vote.
can take
but
yours, Bo. He can take your name. I have an answer for this.
Cows,
Clint Eastwood.
Amy,
Stannis.
I like your contrarian nature, Amy, but I think
Yeah.
it wasn't enough to win. Wasn't enough to save Stannis this time.
She's an individual.
He's been slain.
So
by
that is-
Clint
I've,
that
Eastwood.
I've been on the
man with no name.
majority plenty of times.
I wasn't accusing you of being intentionally contrarian, but I like that you don't try to hide when you go
Okay.
against the grain. Is what I should have said. So now I guess we go back to the chat. We have to
We go back
flip
to the
it back to
chat.
them
Yeah.
to choose between Nelson and Dan Tubb, the matchup of the century we've all been waiting for. Why can I not get rid of them?
Come on, chat. I called it. I don't even think Dan's watching this, which is kind of.
You should
Is
put it
he
on
watching this?
Twitter.
Do you think I should do the poll on Twitter?
I mean, that would be
No,
brilliant.
I
Put
think
the
you
poll
should
on
say
there.
that this is happening. This is the semi-final.
This is
of Who
happening
Would You
now.
Wed
Come
on
on,
Twitter.
Right,
people.
I'm on
Round
it. I'm on
up.
it, ladies. I'm on it. Okay.
Just say
The
you're
phone's
missing
out.
out
I'm gonna-
here.
Tubb has
Clint
probably
Eastwood,
been
'cause he
sat
was-
at home picking his nose while he's winning a poll of Who Would You Wed against Henry Cavill.
Wow. Wow, Amy.
I wonder if his ears are burning right now with all this.
Yeah, I think they
To
probably
give
are.
Pierce
He's just-
Brosnan a chance against the man with no name, I think we're going to have to go with James Bond, Pierce Brosnan. Pierce
Yeah.
Brosnan? Is it
Yes,
Brosnan or
yes.
Brosnan? It's Brosnan.
Yeah, not Mamma Mia,
Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan. We have to go for.
Not the actor. It's going to be James. You're gonna have to...
I'm still for Mamma Mia, Pierce Brosnan.
Really? Oh no.
There is
No, no,
one, there
no.
is one.
That's not good.
It's weird.
Not singing Pierce Brosnan, please.
Oh yes. Oh yeah, singing Pierce Brosnan. Yeah. We're just singing
Yay.
Pierce. Yeah. Yeah, James Bond, Pierce Brosnan over Mamma Mia. Pierce Brosnan, I
Absolutely.
think.
I'm
Yeah.
not watching the poll. How's it going?
I have no idea.
Anyone
We
watching?
can't see.
I can't see it unless I click on it and make a
Yeah, you have
and,
to cheat.
and
Okay,
cheat.
so I'll have
Yeah.
to tell you.
Where
Tubb is winning by 5%.
is he winning? Oh my god.
Dan Tubb's
Yeah.
doing it. He's making it
Brilliant.
to the final.
We're never going to hear
Playing
the
this
end
game
of
is
this
rigged.
now.
We should not be allowing the men in the chat to
See, Amy thinks I'm voting
Do the
just for
semi-
Dan
do the
for shits and
final.
gigs,
So how
but
many
I
other-
actually want Nelson to win this one, so I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
no.
So how
I
many
want
men are
Nelson to
voting in this? I'm just
They're
curious.
all
I
men.
mean,
There is
are
not
they
a
all
single
men?
woman
They're all
watching
men.
this
I don't
There's
think
show.
there's
no-
any women. I
Well,
don't think
that's
there's
just
any women.
that's just wrong.
Gentlemen, who would you prefer to marry? Mr. Tubb or Lord Horatio Nelson?
Admiral Horatio Nelson. Yeah, Dan
Oh.
Tubb, his lead is increasing. He's up to 53%.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. I honestly thought this
just-
would sway in way of Nelson, but apparently I was wrong. So...
All right,
dear.
so then we go. We have to move on. I mean, he's got a narrow lead. If you want Horatio Nelson to
Vote
beat
now.
Dan Tubb, you have to vote now. I'm going to give you 10 seconds, and then I'm going to wait 20 seconds to see what the chat actually does.
Can we just see the
See how
current
it moves.
super chat though? The current super chat is brilliant.
I've voted against Dan every time, says DRT. Is that the one you mean?
Yep, I voted against Dan every time from DRT is king.
All right, 10 seconds. Now we've got to wait to see how much difference that actually made to the after
We've
the
got
latency.
one woman in the chat,
Oh,
and
yay,
we should go
yay,
shill
Amber.
on her vote.
Yay. Hi, Amber.
All right, it looks like I don't think it's shifting. Nelson is not getting any more votes.
Oh,
You know
Wow.
what? Whatever happens tonight, I'm so glad that that Dan Tubb has made such a more exciting.
Yeah.
such a more exciting.
I didn't think he was going
development.
to get this far. I'm not going to lie, so I'm quite impressed.
You've voted
But
for him every time.
I have, but I've
How
also
did he
voted
get
for
this
Nelson
far?
every time. I've also voted for Nelson every time, Amy. So
He
You
was
know,
this
right
was
in
a-
this one.
Nelson,
His lead has not
All the way.
budged.
Nelson all the way.
I think can we offer our opinion? Can we do like the women's hour chat, women's hour panelist opinion on the semi-finals too?
I mean, it's
feel
not
like
going to
it's
count.
only
But I feel
fair.
like we need to put our opinion in just to.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, okay? You vote. Wait, it doesn't mean anything, but you can still vote. Go on, Amy.
Amy,
Nelson.
Cows.
Dan.
What did you say? Dan? Yeah, I'm going to say Dan.
Cody.
Nelson. I'm for Nelson all the way.
Look,
It's
Dan,
Nelson.
you done
Oh.
really well. I'm voting for Nelson.
Oh no!
No.
Look at our chat knocked
Chat
out
voted
Dan.
for this round. The ladies' choice was just the ladies' choice. Okay. The new contender,
Come on, Dan. You can do
James
it.
Bond, International Man of Mystery, the spy who loved me. I think that wasn't him, but that was that was the title of a film. I haven't actually seen many Bond films. I don't think I've seen any with Pierce Brosnan, to be honest with you. but he is a he's a handsome
He
man.
wasn't bad. He wasn't a bad Bond, I thought. Not too bad.
Or the man with no name. I've got to ask the chat. This is the first time the chat has been presented with either of
A
these.
sensible,
This is a sensible.
like a normal kind of.
Well, we're now having a normal one. Emotionally charged, but almost. Okay, looks like Clint Eastwood is winning. As I
Ooh,
suspected,
yes, man with no name.
Yes,
the man with no
Clint.
name, portrayed by Clint Eastwood. Don't forget,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, I hope ladies, you are voting on the character,
Yes.
not the actor.
Not the actor.
You don't have to marry an
Yeah.
actor.
Alone.
Pierce Brosnan is not making it back from this.
What?
Yeah.
We
man
shouldn't
with no
be
name.
living here.
I'm
Yes.
surprised. I'm very
Squint.
surprised.
Wow.
No, Clint is.
Ooh.
Right,
No.
the chat voted for
No.
Dan, so he's up against the man with no
Oh
name.
my god.
And seeing how
Wow.
strongly the chat just came out for the man with no name and how slimly they've come out for Dan in the past, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, Dan's won. We can't take that away from him. He's got this.
No,
far.
he's done well.
Always had the
He's
chat on
done
his
well.
side, but only just.
Yeah, only
Architects
just. This is it.
receiving worldwide.
I
I
want
think-
to know. I want to know what the chat would think, even if we determine the winner.
But since both of these men did, I want to say rightfully, but the man with no name
No.
came in quite late. But since these two did rightfully get to the final, I feel like we do have to vote on them. So just for the formality of it,
Yeah.
it's the ladies' choice for the final round. Birdie, which of them?
Man with no name. Could have a bit of
Tasha?
mystery.
Man with no name.
Cows?
Yeah.
Amy?
For all of my moaning, I'm gonna go with Dan.
Yay!
That makes me the tiebreaker, right?
Wow.
Tiebreaker.
Go on,
Well, I
Bud.
think
You
in this
can't say
situation, I feel like the chat should really be the tiebreaker because we did give them a vote.
All right. Let's go to
that's
chat.
fair. That's
The
fair.
chat,
Let's go to
okay, we'll do
chat.
the chat one more time. Because, I see both sides of the argument, and I feel like I created the tournament. I don't really want to decide the winner.
Yeah, this argument is your fault, Poe. I hope you realise that. We're
But
all
I did-
arguing because of you.
I do think that in terms of, like, marital happiness, I feel like Dan is the man who you could,
Dan's
you
the
could
man.
come back home to every night and have a fun conversation. He'd make you laugh.
A bit more familiar, isn't it? Yeah.
I feel like if you married Clint Eastwood, the man with no name, he's just too mysterious. Like he's too.
Yeah, but that's the
Too
fun
adventurous.
part. You gotta
Imagine,
get to
like-
know them.
I
Thank
feel
you.
comfortable
Yeah.
that
But
Dan
honestly, like,
wouldn't
If you
leave
had
me
to,
for
using the
some Western
using the
woman.
sexy sons hypothesis of evolutionary psychology, like which of these men is going to give you sexier sons? Like you're thinking like generations into the
No.
future. Whose genes do you want to propagate into to the next generation? I feel like the man with no name. He's
Yeah.
got it. He's got
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's got that absolutely.
But there's
alpha
mental
Chad.
genes as well. And
I
like,
don't
how
think
do
that-
you think
I don't think
you'd
that
raise a
Clint
kid with
Eastwood-
someone?
I don't think that Clint Eastwood is physically attractive in the
Oh
slightest.
no, he is. He's gorgeous.
No.
He is.
Look at
I
him.
think
He
he
is.
It's
Absolutely.
very attractive.
I
And-
think those, the Sergio Leone Western films, it's like that perfect intersection of films that you can watch with your girlfriend, where the men are watching it for the shooting, the fighting, the showdowns, and the women are just like in love with the man with their name. Like,
Admiring.
Admiring.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
absolutely. But I'm
Okay.
absolutely startled.
Do we
Dan
have
Tubb
a final
is winning the
answer?
poll.
No.
The tiebreaker poll, 62 to 38. After everything I said about him being a better husband, a better provider, it seems that I've swayed the chat to my way of thinking.
Oh my
Gosh,
god.
they're just so fickle, aren't they?
I
They're
feel
so
we give
easily swayed.
So we give it another 2 minutes, and whoever's got the highest vote on the chat gets the deciding vote. At the moment, it's 50-50.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I actually can't decide. I'm leaving it to chat. I'm
Wow.
I'm putting down my tiebreaker.
Tell the truth, Poe. Tell the truth.
yeah, I mean, down top, I'm going to give it 10 seconds for the man with no
Oh,
name. But
someone just
really,
put-
there's 50
okay.
votes, there's 65 people watching. Like, how can
Someone
you...
just put, it's rigged, why should I vote? Because this isn't actually rigged. We are waiting for the deciding vote
It's rigged.
from...
So yeah, that's, okay, I'm going to give it 10 seconds, but really it's it's not looking good for the man with no name. We've got 10, count with me, 9, 8,
8,
7,
7,
6,
6,
5,
5,
4, I've
4,
lost count. Sorry, my
3,
fingers are not matching.
2, 1.
10 seconds, Dan is the winner. It's a, get
Wow.
out of here, the man with no name.
Oh, wow,
There
that
you go.
is.
Dan wins. Who would
Won
you
it.
wedge? I mean,
Every
I
man,
want to say,
the boy
I want to
next
say
door.
congratulations, but
Get him a clip art crown.
I mean, Brendan, well done,
Yay.
well done.
Somebody tell him on Twitter. Oh, I don't have the heart to
Just
do
follow
Yes,
me
we-
because
is he
I'm
not
convinced he. Hold on, I've got to find it.
Amazing.
I'm convinced he did that just to get votes.
Bless everyone who was here for this legendary moment. All right, I'm
Wow.
exhausted, and my note, and I've got to clean up that blood that I spilled in my house.
Oh wow, there was blood as well.
Bowie,
You
the
know.
Bowie effect.
That's-
Brilliant.
Now, I'm
Ooh.
sure that there's going to be some people who need explanation for who these characters are.
I don't. I'm amazed that I don't, but I don't. I'm
Hold
loving
on.
this.
My nose is bleeding. This has never happened before.
Oh no,
Oh.
you're all right. Oh
It's
wow.
like an anime character. You talk about the character.
Are you sure it wasn't Bowie who did it?